Hello, welcome to Gurukul's CAT 100 series, a series that's designed specifically to take you from your study room to the corporate boardroom. I am Prady Sharma and this is Verbal Mastery with Prady. This is the passage for today. In case you want to attempt this as a test, you can always log on to www.thegurukul.org.in and sign up for the 100 Days to CAT test series. Now this is a free test series for all of you where we'd be uploading 100 tests of quant, LRDI and verbal ability to keep you consistent with your CAT prep and help you crack CAT 2025. Now, in case you don't want to take this as a test and you want to continue with the video, then all you've got to do is pause when I ask you to pause, solve the questions, comment down the answers below, and then what we're going to do is look at the passage explanations and the explanations to the questions. So this is your passage, paragraph number 1. Pause the video here, read this passage, jot down all the main points, then we're going to go into the paragraph number 2. So this is your paragraph number 2. Pause the video here, jot down the main points, and then we're going to go into the paragraph number 3. So this is your paragraph number 3, the last paragraph of this passage. Pause the video here, jot down the main points. Once go through the entire passage together so that you understand what's happening in the passage, then we'll start attempting the questions. So guys, this is your question number 1. It's a nice question. Pause the video, take 1 minute, no cheating. Then we'll go into the question number 2. Question number 2, guys, again 1 minute, and then we'll go into the question number 3. So pause the video here. Alright, so question number 3, nice question. Pause the video here, take no more than 1 minute, and then we'll go into the question number 4. It's the last question. Alright guys, so the last question of this passage, question number 4. It's a good question, kind of tricky, so pause the video here, take 1 minute. Comment down all your answers once you're done, so that when we are explaining the questions, you know exactly where you went wrong. Feel free to ask me any doubts you have in the comments. Now, let's get into the passage explanation. It says lifelong learning will help you be happier, earn more, and even stay healthier, experts say, okay? Plus, plenty of some of the smartest names in the business insist that the best way to get smarter is to read. So what do you do? Now, what is the idea that I'm getting till here? I get to understand that, yes, learning should be a lifelong skill. So lifelong learning is what he has spoken about. And he's giving me examples, okay, of businessmen and all who have actually achieved success in their field by saying that these people read a lot. Okay, so you go out and you buy books, lots of them, but life is busy and intentions are one thing, actions another. Obviously, you'd want to crack CAT. You say that you study a lot, but then all you do is maybe 1 or 2 passages a day. The intention is to crack CAT, but the action, that's not really happening, right? So that's what he's trying to say. So soon you find your shelves or e-reader overflowing with titles. Titles are nothing but the books you intend to read one day, or books you flip through once but then abandon. That means you just looked at it once and you left the book. You didn't read that completely, right? Is this a disaster for your project to become smarter, wiser person? So does this actually stop you becoming a wiser person if you just flip through a book once, or if you just buy the books and keep them with you? If you never actually got around to reading any books, then yes. That means if you just bought and you've not read any books at all, then obviously it's not going to make you smarter. You might want to read upon tricks to squeeze more reading into your hectic life and why it pays to commit a few hours every week to learning. So, if you have a lot of books and you have not read even one book, then what's the alternative? You start searching for ways as how should I make time to read these books? How will these books make me a smarter person? Right? Now, but if it's simply that your book reading is in no way keeps pace with your books buying, I have good news for you. For me, I definitely fall into this category. That means the author also buys a lot of books. Okay, he's like some of us probably, but he does not read all the books that he buys. Yes, your overstuffed library isn't a sign of failure or ignorance. It's a badge of honor. So what's he saying? Just because you have a lot of books, your overstuffed library, that means one library that has a lot of books in it, it's not that it's a sign of failure. Okay, it's not your ignorance. In fact, it's a badge of honor. Now let's try to look at why the author says it's a badge of honor. That's the argument author and statisticians Nassim Nicholas Taleb, again, the name is irrelevant to us, some author makes in his bestseller Black Swan. Okay, the book name is Black Swan. He kicks off his musings with an anecdote about the legendary library of Italian writer Umberto Eco, which contained a jaw-dropping 30,000 volumes. That means he had 30,000 books in his library. Okay, so an anecdote guys, if you did not know the meaning of this word, anecdote is a short personal story. Okay, it's a short personal story, so please make the note of this. Did Eco actually read all these books? Of course not. So he had 30,000 books, but he did not read all these books. Okay, but that wasn't the point of surrounding himself with so much potential, but as yet unrealized knowledge. That means there was so much potential. There was an ability to read all those books, but he has not yet gotten the knowledge from those books because he has not read them yet. By providing a constant reminder of all the things he didn't know, Eco's library kept him intellectually hungry and perpetually curious. Again, guys, if you did not know the meaning of the word perpetually, it means forever. Okay, so it always kept him curious. An ever-growing collection of books you haven't read yet can do the same for you. A private library is not an ego-boosting appendage, but a research tool. So it's not just an addition to boost your ego, but it's kind of a research tool, right? Okay, read books read books are far less valuable than unread ones. That means the books that you've read are less valuable than the books that you have never read. Why is the author trying to tell us this? Let's look at the further part. The library should contain as much of what you do not know as your financial means, mortgage rates, and the tight real estate market allows you to put there. That means if you're having a home library, obviously it's not going to be a very extensive place, right? So obviously our homes are smaller. Whatever the mortgage rates we are paying, it may be higher. So because of that, we'll get a smaller home, smaller place to keep in. And obviously we might not have the finances or the money to always keep buying books. Okay, I would love to buy all the books in the world, but obviously I don't have the means to buy all the books in the world. So how many ever I can buy? Okay, I'd like to buy and keep them there. Okay, you'll accumulate more knowledge and more books as you grow older, and the now growing number of unread books on the shelves will look at you menacingly. That means they'll look at you with a tone of discontempt. Okay, indeed, the more you know, the larger the rows of unread books. Let's call this collection of unread books are anti-library. That means what? The more you've read, you'll also keep adding books that you have not read. You just want to read that book, but you're not able to read that book. Now those books, okay, those all rows of your books are your anti-library. Okay, so what is the idea that I get from this entire paragraph? The idea that I get from this entire paragraph is that books, specifically unread books, okay, also give us value, right? And why do these give us value? Because it increases curiosity, right? And makes us intellectually hungry. That means it makes us want to know more, right? Okay. An anti-library is a powerful reminder of your limitations, the vast quantity of things you don't know, half know, or will one day realize you're wrong about. So, things that you do not know, those are the things that are there in your anti-library, right? Or the things that you're wrong about, those are the things that are there in the anti-library, right? So, one day you realize about them. So, that is why it's a powerful reminder of our limitations. So, it's telling us about our limitations, right? By living with that reminder daily, you can nudge yourself, that means push yourself, okay, towards the kind of intellectual humility that improves decision making and drives learning. So, if I'm surrounding myself with books that I did not yet read, I will feel like I don't know a lot of things. And that humility, that humbleness in me is what will push me to learn more. People don't walk around with anti-resumes telling you what they have not studied or experienced. It's the job of the competitors to do that, obviously. So this is a satirical thing that he's saying, but it would be nice if they did. Okay, so anti-resumes, he's just introducing anti-resumes by saying that, okay, people don't tell you that they've not studied this or they've not experienced this thing, but if they did that, it would be great for us. Why? Because it's a well-known psychological fact that it's the most incompetent who are the most confident of their abilities and the most intelligent who are full of doubt. So now this is a new idea that I get. Okay, so if you are incompetent, okay, you are obviously very confident. Okay, and let us say that you are someone who is smart. You are always doubtful of your abilities. Think of it this way, guys. Okay, let me just illustrate this to you with a very, very small example. Let's say that I have two circles. Okay, for the sake of the space, I'll just draw two small circles, and let me say that there are 100 topics in each of these circles for me to know. Yes? Someone who knows that there are 100 topics. Okay, someone who's smart, right? He knows that there are 100 topics. But someone who's, dumb or incompetent, let me just use that word. I mean, obviously, I'm not offending any of you. It's just to, tell the example. So, if there's someone who's dumb, they only think that there is 40 topics in that whole thing. Now, let's say that both of them have finished 20 topics, or maybe the intelligent person has finished 35 topics. Okay? Even then, this dumb person thinks he knows 50% of everything. Whereas the smart person knows he only knows 35% of it all. which makes this smart person feels like he does not know enough. So he's always doubtful about what he knows. Whereas this dumb person who thinks he knows 50% is super confident about everything he thinks he knows. Right? Now this is what is called as the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's equally well established that more readily you admit you don't know things, the faster you learn. That means if you tell us that you don't know this, people will teach it to you. You'll learn it faster. Okay, so stop beating yourself up for buying too many books or having a to-read list that could never get through in 3 lifetimes. That means it's okay for you to have big goals, big to-read lists, okay, even if you cannot complete all of it. All these books you haven't read are indeed a sign of your ignorance. So he's clearly telling that the books that you have not read is a sign of your ignorance. You've ignored a lot of knowledge. But if you know how ignorant you are, that means if you acknowledge your ignorance, then you're way ahead of the vast majority of other people. You're definitely above other people who are not able to acknowledge their own ignorance. Now that you have understood this passage, let's get into the questions. Having a library of many unread books promotes intellectual humility because. So why does, having a lot of unread books promote or give rise to intellectual humility? As the Dunning-Kruger effect shows, it's the ignorant that are the most confident. Now I agree that Dunning-Kruger effect shows this, but this has nothing to do with why unread books are showing, intellectual humility. Right? So this cannot be my answer. The number of unread books is a reminder of one's own ignorance. Yes. If we are, aware of our ignorance, if we are reminded of our ignorance, then we'll be intellectually humble. So this could be a possible answer if I don't find something better. Anti-libraries are known to contribute to a sense of one's own inadequacy. Again, I get it that this and this are almost similar, but here he said are known to contribute to, which is just a possibility, which is why I can remove this answer. It stimulates one's desire to acquire more knowledge. Again, it's an effect of what's happening, but he's asking the reason, the cause of it, right? So definitely I can remove this answer also. The best possible answer is B. Let's move forward. The author mentions the Dunning-Kruger effect in order to. So why is the author trying to tell us about the Dunning-Kruger effect? First things first, explain the effect of cognitive bias. That means our faulty way of thinking on one's self-perception of how we feel. Obviously, if we are thinking that we are incompetent, okay, or if we are thinking that we are super knowledgeful, yes, we'll be very confident. If we think that, okay, I don't know enough, I'll be doubtful. So this fits perfectly, okay. If there's no better answer than this, we'll go for A. Make his argument technically authentic. Now see, obviously he's trying to make something technically authentic, but he's not, elaborating on Dunning-Kruger effect. He's just mentioned it as an example, right? So this will not be our answer. Bring to focus the academic background of his argument. Again, there's no academic background for his argument. He's just trying to mention a theory, right? So we can take this off. Compare his own conclusions with already established one. In this option, think about it logically. Yes, he's making a comparison. Okay, but the already established arguments and his argument are quite different. Okay, it's just a sub part of his argument. So clearly this cannot be the answer. The best answer will be A. Now, the third question, which of the following would be the most appropriate title for the passage? I'm sure most of us would have gotten this question correct, but let's look at it. Why the books you have read are less important than the books you will never read? This is a partial scope. This is just the first part of it. The important part is about understanding your own ignorance or being humble and trying to acquire more knowledge. So I am going to remove this answer. Why you should surround yourself with books that you will never read? Again, good. Makes sense, but still not complete to an extent. So if I don't find anything better, I'll go with B. Why you should surround yourself with more books than you will ever have time to read. Now this makes more sense than B. Why? Because here he says, why you should surround yourself with books that you will never read. So if you will never read them, even though you're acknowledging your ignorance, you're not doing anything to get that knowledge, right? But in C option, why you should surround yourself with more books than you will ever have time to read. That means what? Yes, there's a possibility for you to read it. If you, understand your ignorance, you can try and read them. So this becomes a better option than than B. So let's look at D option, the library and the anti-library, a reader's dilemma. There's no dilemma, to be very honest. Okay. A, there's constraints on time and all, but there's absolutely no dilemma as far as we have read the passage. So the best possible answer should be C. Now, for the last question, it can be inferred from the passage that Umberto Eco was one of the best read people in history. Clearly in the passage he said that there are 3 lakh books. Okay, 300,000 books, but he has not read most of them. So I can definitely infer that he was not one of the best read people in history. Was a character in the Italian mythology. He was an Italian, but it's not a character in the mythology, so I can remove B as well. Read most of the 30,000 books in his private library. To be very honest, he clearly mentioned the passage that he has not read most of the books. So this is an opposite answer, so I'm going to remove this. Had the largest rows of unread books in his private library. So as far as the passage is concerned, since it's the only example that's been given to us, okay, he did have the largest number of unread books or unread books in the rows. So this should be our correct answer. So the right answer will be D. Alright guys, so tell me in the comments how many questions did you get correct, and if you have any doubts, please don't hesitate to post them in the comments. Drop a like and share this to your friend who's preparing for CAT 2025. I'll see you again in the next.
Hope you enjoyed learning from today's session.
This series is designed to help you with your CAT preparation and practice daily. We are with you in this journey.
To watch the next video, click here. And to watch Gurukul's CAT 100 series, study room to boardroom, the entire playlist, click here.
If you learned from today's session, like, share and subscribe.